would say the assessment is that we're learning. We're learning where our program is as far as the guys who we have in our roster right now. We're learning about where we need to go, where we need to get better, what we have to do for recruiting. So at the midway point right now, we're doing a lot of learning as a coaching staff. We're doing a lot of learning as individuals, as far as our lineup is concerned, and we're just focused on getting better. We've lost a dual meet this year, which some guys really had to take. Some of these guys on the team have never lost a dual meet before. So, there's a lot of learning involved in that, and we're learning how to enjoy the process. And our focus is March. So, we're just kind of getting these guys ready to go for that. I'm pleasantly surprised how these guys are bouncing back from adversity, whether that be, guys getting dinged up here and there in the room and having to recover and get themselves going again. I'm pleasantly surprised in how we were coming back from coming off a loss. I like the way that the guys are responding every day in practice. I like the way that the individuals are responding who might have lost when they didn't expect to lose. I like what we're doing as individuals. So, I'm pleasantly surprised in where we're at 125. I'm pleasantly surprised in where we're at 141. And the other weight classes are expectation. I expect those things out of those guys. It's confidence. It's confidence that what we're doing every day is the right thing to do to get to the next level. And I think that the guys need that. We don't do what we do for the recognition that we have. Wilhelm doesn't win because he wants to, be the career wins leader at Stevens. He doesn't win a tournament because he wants OW. Brett doesn't win a tournament because he wants OW. Barai isn't winning tournaments because he wants OW. It's a recognition for the direction that we're going, and it reminds these guys that what we're doing is right. And again, believing in the process and believing in what we're doing here. These guys need that little bit of confidence, because what we do day in and day out isn't easy. It's not easy on these guys to go through what we have here in practice every day. So for them to get, that little token or that little chip or, that paycheck kind of thing, it's nice for them to have that and keep them in the direction that they're going. It's important. It's important because it's a great event that we've been a part of for, I think, the last 5 years. And we haven't dropped a dual meet since we've been there, and we wrestled some pretty tough teams along the way. So for that regard, it's important that we keep up that level of tradition. It's important that, the last dual meet that we had was a loss. So it's important for our team's confidence, individuals' confidence, our program confidence, that these guys seal up a win here coming off a dual meet loss. And we kind of get the things going, back in the right direction. And on an individual level, there's some guys in the lineup who are struggling or are coming off a high level of success. It's important that they respond to that and finish off the first semester, the right way. And I think that we'll see that from those individuals. Like I said before, I'm really happy with 125 and where we're at in there. I think that Barai is doing what what he expected and what we as a coaching staff expected him to do, and he's getting that weight down under control and just getting himself more comfortable with being down at 125 as opposed to 133. So there's a lot of learning that goes along with that. Troy's executing the way that we expect him to execute, the way that he expects himself to execute. And Brett is right there chomping at the bit. He's surrounded by a lot of really good guys, and he wants to have the same level of success that those guys have. So, to start off our program in those three directions, and then to have Van Sickle and Wilhelm, follow those guys up, it's a tough starting five, and we expect those guys to produce every time out. So we expect them to produce this weekend. Cornell puts on one of the best tournaments in the country, outside of the national tournament, and I even would argue that in some regard it's tougher than the national tournament, especially if teams like Wartburg and Augsburg and, Whitewater, they all bring their top lineups. It has potential to be tougher than the national tournament for sure. So we're coming off a really tough tournament at York. We thought that tournament this year would rival what they were going to put on at the Matman. So we're excited to go out there. We always are. It's a big trip for us. We're going to duel Loris while we're out there, another top 10 team in the country, which will be very, very competitive. So we're excited and looking forward to that. And then 2 days later we'll be at the Matman and we'll go through a full day competition, against some of the top teams in the country. and that's always earmarked on our calendar. You know, we always try to peak for that and make sure that our guys are ready. It's going to be, you know, the first time that a lot of these guys will see, you know, those teams from the Iowa conferences and, you know, out in that Wisconsin area. So for them to wrestle those guys and then, you know, perform well will help us for the national championships, whether that's a win or a loss. You know, we're out there to get better. So, you know, it's not about the wins and the losses for our guys, you know, at an event like that or any event. It's about how are we going to improve and get better for March.